Welcome to Game Recognized Game. I'm Myles Turner, 11-year NBA vet, center for the Milwaukee Bucks, along with my legendary co-host, 3-time WA champion, Breanna Stewart, a.k.a. Stewart.
And today, we're lucky to be joined by a guy who knows a lot about game, one of the best basketball skills coaches in the world, the owner of Black Ops Basketball, Chris Brickley.
No, thank you so much for having me. Definitely, Stewie. We've been working for years, and Myles, I would love to work with you. Eventually, but always been a big fan for sure.
That's love, bro. But we got a big show today. We're gonna talk to Chris about how he got started as a top trainer, ask him about the most skilled and hardest working players he's trained with, and we'll get to know Chris a little bit off the court, man. I'm trying to see what you about.
Let's do it.
I feel like first, I want you to tell the story about how we first met, from like what you remember, and then talk more recently about us being in Spain and all that.
Well, we connected. We worked out the Sky. You had a photographer that I believe still like around in your life, right? That was there taking pictures.
Yeah, well, she was. Yeah.
You didn't miss like the first 2 workouts. Like you didn't miss a single shot. I was like, what is going on? Like it was incredible. Yeah, no, and I was just blown away at your skill set. And I feel like, it's been a number of years and it's been cool just to build a relationship, from leaving Nike to go to Puma to coming to New York. And some of my friends are your friends, and, we've kind of intertwined in New York. It's been dope. And we were just in Geneva together. I feel like I even got closer to your family. And I feel like your family's my family. I've met your grandma, all types of stuff. So.
I know. That's crazy.
That's hard, man. That's hard. Yeah. All right, Chris. So one thing we really like to do on this show, obviously the title of the show is Game Recognized Game. One, like a big thing is like, what does that mean to you? And then just a follow-up to that, like when's the first time you realized or you felt like damn, bro, I got game?
I think I'm just starting varsity as a freshman. That was a really cool moment. Team was really good. Out in New Hampshire, small state. But I think that was a cool moment. What about you guys?
Mine was when I was in 8th grade and I got an offer from Syracuse. I'm from Syracuse. And at that point, it was kind of like, okay, like maybe I can do this and maybe I can figure this out. And then that was just like the opening of the floodgates.
It's early in the game too, man. Yeah. So I'm from Texas, bro. Texas is the football domineered state. And Stewie's heard this story. First time I really felt it, I made a football player quit. He was bigger than everybody. He was supposed to be the talk of the town. It was 7th or 8th grade or something like that. And then I came in, bro. I had 40 points and all on him. It was just all on him. And then I had played AAU with the point guard of his team. And we had practice the next day. And he said, yeah, bro, big fella quit, man. He literally walked out the locker room last night and said, he don't want to play basketball no more. I said, why you do him like that? And I thought he was joking, but he was dead ass, bro. He played football and, probably went on to have a good career, but he didn't play basketball after that ever again. And I just took that real personal, man, because I played football for a minute and for 1 year, and I realized how much I hated that shit. And I just wanted to return the favor a little bit. So that was a big one for me, bro. Yeah.
No, that's definitely, to have someone quit the game, that's definitely, that's a good thing. That means you did something.
Isn't that crazy?
Facts, man. You felt that shit in the soul, but, it is what it is.
So you went to Louisville, and I feel like I never really asked you this before because you play for Coach Pitino, Coach Rick. They're kind of sound similar. What was the biggest thing you learned from him? But also, what was his craziest moment where you were like, this man is...
Man, that's a lot. I would say the craziest moment was, we went through a month period where the team was turning the ball over too much. So in practice, if you turned it over, you had to run outside. So at the University of Louisville, it's a basketball, football. The basketball players, the football players, people know them. So you had to run outside, get a sign, and hold Papa John's is hiring for 10 cars to drive by, and then you can run back into practice. And
my God.
That was a lot for sure. Wouldn't let us sleep on the plane, if we lost, so you'd be you just wouldn't want to sleep because he'd be pacing up and down the thing. Definitely, in the moment, and you might but you guys are winning so crazy. We were number one in the country too, but it was different. I was a walk-on. I wasn't.
Mhm.
So I'm doing all this work and to be a walk-on, and he's like going at me, and I'm just I was kind of miserable. And then it took like years after to me to be like, wow, he taught me so much about life, how to
Mhm.
treat people, how to deal with different personalities. So I'm thankful for him.
That's real. Like he recruited me for a little bit, man. I didn't get a real chance just to, spend a lot of time with him. But I've heard nothing but great things about him. Just like what you were talking about. Like basketball is one thing, but just as a man, what he teaches you in life, and just what more the game can bring to you. And I think it's dope to have them like figures in your life that early, especially like starting up in your career. That's real.
For sure. Great coaches, I feel like that they all have that in common.
You work with pretty much everybody, bro. Stars, rookies, role players, and I mean, again, you've done an amazing job of just branding yourself and just being more so about the game than the actual brand itself. Like how long did it take you to tell a player is going to be like great when you started working with them? Because typically I feel like the better trainers can tell right away just off their first vibe.
For sure, for sure. You can always tell if a player has something. You always tell if they have like that dog in them, right?
Mhm.
That's like I think that's like the toughest thing to teach, like someone to play with that like inner like dog in them. I guess I guess that's the way I'm gonna word it. It's like that's a hard thing to teach. So I think that and that's been at so many different levels. Like I started working out with Donovan when he was in high school, ranked like 200 in the country. Then I started working with CJ McCollum after his second year in the NBA when he played like 6 minutes a game. Then he got most improved player after that. So like that's been like really some really
Mhm.
cool moments where it's like, damn, I think what I'm doing is working. And I've always been huge on, and Stewie knows this, like no trainer is making a player. You guys do the work, right?
Mhm.
You deal with the injuries, you deal with everything. And it's I think a trainer's job is just to bring the best out of you guys. But I'm heavy on the like I don't think trainers maybe when you're really young, right hand layups, left hand layups. But when you
Mhm.
get to like the pro level, obviously you're teaching, but like no trainer's making a player. Yeah, I just and I
Mhm.
because you hear that so much, and so many trainers think that that player is mine. And I just hate hearing that, because I feel like you guys dedicate your lives to it. Yeah.
No, that's real. Is there any difference between training like, men or women with you? Because obviously you have a wide variety of players that you work with. And I feel like this is more so like to the general audience. And I think in the hoop world, we know what's up. Like when you step in between them lines, like it's just what it is. I know plenty of women that I grew up with, played with us, like in the high school runs. But like what's your philosophy when it comes like just coaching and training men versus women?
Yeah, I mean, so shout out Stewie. She was the first, female basketball player that I've worked with. And
Wow.
so and that led just she has such a big heralded name. I feel like that bled down to Paige and AZ, and Stewie really helped me. Like so, Carmelo helped me on the men's side. I started working with him. I was this guy, and then Stewie really helped me on the women's side. So I owe Stewie everything.
Wow.
I'll forever be thankful for her.
No, not even.
It's true.
No,
It's
no,
true.
no.
And yeah. So now as far as so you gotta take shot making. I feel like you could argue that in a workout, girls make more shots. Like if you were just to like look at, you were to take 100 WNBA players, 100 NBA players, put them through uh, 300 shot workout. I think women might shoot better. I don't know, Sue. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because I think whenever I like work out with Chris, it's kind of like, he gives you this goal.
Hmm.
And at his gym it's like the NBA 3, you're not shooting any closer
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
So you have a goal of like how many you need to make, whether it's like standstill threes or moving threes and that type of thing. And he'll be like, "Oh, so and so got, I don't know, 75. Like you want to beat that." Or there's like a dribbling drill where it's like the number to beat. So it's I think with Chris it's like the number's the same regardless. Like the expectation is the same. Yeah, sometimes like when you're doing anything closer to the basket, it might look a little bit different, but from from the workout itself, like when I've worked out and then I see the workouts he does with other people, I'm like, yeah, this is like I'm going through these drills, or this drill sucks, or that, you know.
Sure.
Um, you know which one is like a killer for sure.
No, for sure. And obviously, you're gonna have this men and women from an athleticism, right? That it's gonna be different. That's life. But as far as skills,
Yeah.
you could argue that this if you take all athleticism away, it's pretty damn close.
And I feel like that's the argument quite a bit. I mean, I think that's what the casuals try to say. It's like, oh, well, men are better athletes and this is that, and women are more fundamental. But if you really like break down the game, bro, I like what you said right there. Like, just take, make that obsolete. Just hoop for hoop, go out there and actually hoop. Let's find out. I think
Yeah.
I think it'd be an interesting case study. One day. I don't know. I think it's I'm biased, and I'm always gonna roll with me. Roll with us. But it is what it
Yeah.
is. We can put that shit to the test.
Obviously, we worked out. You train AZ a lot. Wondering where you think she's gonna go in the draft. Will she go number 1?
Mm.
She's been cooking.
Or and also, what's the biggest thing you've seen change over the trajectory of her career? Like, what has she really like owned at this moment?
I think just being herself, like being comfortable in her skin. And that's just on the court, off the court. And I feel like that's really helped her. I've been working with her since sophomore year of high school. And, she's always been really good, but she's always been the kind of like an overthinker. And I feel like she won that national championship, got that MVP, and like almost like a chip. Like I don't know, she like became like relieved, and she's like, this year she's shooting 50%, 40% from 100% from free throw line. Like I don't even know if anyone's ever done that for a season. If she continues to do that, did you do that, Stewie?
No, I did 50-40 and then I messed up the free throws. So,
Oh, really?
But I'm not sure if 50-40-90 is a tough thing to do. It's like one of my goals in the W, and I still have not gotten there yet. So, next season.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
That's real, man. Keep the work up. I'm curious before we go to break, Chris. I just have one just kind of off the beaten path question, bro. How do you make your relationships? I mean, obviously, again, you've been able to now word of mouth. You've created a great lane for yourself. But when you first getting started in the industry, how did you just get connected with such great players, or just was it through the agencies? Was it through just Instagram DMs? How did you make your relationships?
Yes, I've never done the agency thing, and
Smart.
no disrespect to agents. I respect the craft. I respect how they get their money, but I've always stayed away from like the agent, manager, all of that. Like Stewie knows, and I know sometimes it could be annoying for the player, whatever, if you're traveling or whatever. But I've always been like, okay, we're working together. Like we can talk. Me and the player can talk. So it's always been anyone you've ever seen me in the gym with. It's been like someone I'm genuinely either friends with or like we're working towards being a friend. And I say a friend because I feel like to get the best out of someone, you need to figure out what motivates them, why they're playing, what makes them tick. And if you're not cool with them and you don't understand them, you're not really gonna go far. So yeah, I've always taken it like as a personal thing for sure.
I respect that, man. That's real. I just think that's again, it's an industry, it's a business at the end of the day, and I think you can get lost in the fold of that. So I respect the fact that you take the time to make the relationship with your players, because it goes a very long way, especially even when basketball's done. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. 100%.
All right, man. Well, it's time for a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk to Chris about the stuff that fans don't see, but really matters on the court. So,
welcome back to Game Recognized Game with Stewie and Myles, and we're joined by elite basketball skills trainer Chris Brickley. No more lobs, time for the real hard-hitting questions. The people that just see the Instagram videos, what's the hardest skill to actually teach players?
Yeah, the Instagram videos, that alone is just so stressful. Like people, you work out 90 minutes, right? 10 workouts, 90 minutes. That's I'm not a mathematician, but it's a lot of minutes. I might post 60 seconds and you have all the internet judging like that's his workout, I'm like, I just showed you 60 seconds of 12 hours. And so, early on as I was like just building an audience, it would weigh on me. And then I realized it doesn't matter as long as me and the player are on the same page and the player is improving.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. But it definitely, I went through phases where I didn't see it that way, but you mature, and I'm sure with you guys the same thing with Instagram comments, whatever it is, right? You go through phases. Have you guys gone through phases with that? Do you read Instagram comments? How do you feel about that?
I'm not exactly sure how it goes in WNBA side. I mean, I've seen things that are just honestly just like distasteful, unspeakable. But just on the men's side, bro, when I first got to the league, like I used to, bro, stay up, search my name after every game, see what people were saying. Like I cared so much, bro. And then like as I got older and more into my career, I realized that outside validation, it didn't mean shit. You know, it didn't really matter. You know, at the end of the day, one, I'm the biggest critic of my game. Two, like 97 point shit, we'll say 99.9% of people are in the comments couldn't last 30 seconds in our job, bro, in our industry and what we do. So you just learn to take the sting out of the words that they say. But yeah, man, there was definitely a time period where, you know, it was tough. You know, it's crazy nowadays because you got this prop betting and all
Oh
this
man,
extra stuff. Like, don't,
that really
I
makes
know.
it worse.
yeah, bro, it gets bad, bro. People start coming after your family, death
'Cause they're going
threats,
broke.
all sorts
They're
of shit.
like they can't pay their bill. The whole yeah, no,
Mhm.
it's a rough thing for
It's a
sure.
disease, bro. It's a disease. But I mean, you know, you take it for what it is. You know, again, like, you know, these are people that just, again, just live in a kind of a fantasy land, don't see us as, they see us as props. Like you said, like it is prop
You
betting for a reason. You feel me?
yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you just take it on the chin and, you know, do what you do with it. But I know, Stewie, I know you can speak to it, like, you know, especially the way your game goes.
Yeah, I mean, literally the same. I think that it's gotten even worse with the betting. And it was like game one of the finals in 2024. And I made the free throw to go to overtime, but I missed the free throw to win the game. And
Mm,
like after that was just like so many death threats. But it's like not for me, it's fine. But when you involve my kids or my
yeah,
family, then I
yeah,
have a problem.
of course.
And we live in New York City, so I don't really read the comments. But it's like when it gets to a level like that, you're like, okay, now I need to be like even more cautious about things.
Yeah, when it goes beyond your career, you're right. When you start involving family members or loved ones, that's when, like, you know, for me, like I'm a man at the end of the day. Like, you know, you coming at my pride, and, like, you know, you coming at, you know, what I stand for. So, you know, it differentiates from there. But when it comes to my craft, it's like, all right, you can't do what the fuck I do. So I don't want to hear it.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. All right, I got a good one. Like, what's a skill that like no one actually wants to work on, but matters the most in games, just in your opinion?
I feel like younger players nowadays they don't want to watch film as much as
Mm,
I feel like they should, and I feel like watching film. So like you guys will be out there playing, um, guys and girls, be out there playing and feels a certain type of way, and then you watch the film and you're like, damn, I thought it felt different. Like
Never lies.
film
Way worse. I thought it was way worse.
Hmm.
Yeah.
and, and so film is so important, and with the whole Instagram hype and the highlights and this and that, players don't want to really watch film, and I think that's hurting the game, and I think that whole like the whole European thing, like 40% of the league is now, and I feel like the AAU games, and it's just we need to kind of shift that.
Let's expand on that a little bit more because I enjoy that topic right there. Like, you know, yeah, the league is shifting overseas and the more European players, and you know, because one they play on the same team since they're like 12, 13 years old and all come up together. They
Yeah,
work on their practical skills. They study the actual game. Whereas now in America, it's more highlight culture, and
Yeah.
you know, now you got NIL involved, and like, you know, with high school guys and getting agents in middle school, and bro, like it's more of a business, you know, here than it ever has been, and it's affecting the way Americans are, you know, coming into this league now. So I'm curious your opinion, like, you know, on that.
for sure. I mean, it's a scary thing to think about. Majority of these kids in college, that's going to be the most money they make in their lives. And so, like, just think you go to college, you make $1.5 million, say you don't make the league. How are you going to take a job making $55,000 and like take it serious?
Yeah.
It's like it's
Wow.
the harsh. It's putting them, it's almost like not fair to the kids in the big scheme of things. But also you could argue they should be getting paid. So it's like a weird, very interesting thing.
honestly, this isn't like anything that we had ready, but I thought about it.
Please.
What about like the ones that they go pro, right? And now they can go back into school.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like,
Yeah.
this guy was just in the NBA. He was drafted, and now he's like back at Baylor.
No,
Mhm.
for sure. And then also the
It's
whole like you go to 4 schools, and then when you're done, what school do you identify with? Like
Yeah, yeah.
like that. I'm
they
sure.
got the little pendants of all the schools that they've been in.
For sure.
Yeah. Didn't that just happen? Texas Tech just got like she's like 7'4" or 7'1",
Yes.
something like that. I saw
Yes,
a woman that just
Nigerian
transferred there. Yeah.
player.
7 foot tall, bro, in the women's game. Like, what are we in college? Like, what are we talking about?
She moves well. Can she move well? And
I personally haven't seen her play. I just saw the
I also
headline.
haven't
Yeah.
seen. I've only saw that she was like 7'1".
Mhm.
wow.
But going against 18-year-olds, man, guys, people like that are just, I don't know, man. But I think the kid at Baylor is very interesting because allegedly he played in Summer League, right? He never, quote unquote, played a pro game, but he played professionally overseas and signed a
Yeah.
professional contract. And to me, yes, that does void your amateur status, but they're
It's already
allowing him.
voided.
Yeah, that's why I believe it should be. But you get so many lines crossed to the NIL because it's such an unregulated thing and it was so rushed. And these teams, just like anybody, are finding the gray or finding the loophole. So, one, if you got the money, you got the valuation, you can pay to play. And then 2, shit, you got to really just get it how you live now. There really is no going back from here, in my opinion. Even if you try to regulate it now, it's like, well, shit, well, Baylor's doing this. Why can't we do it?
That's right. You know how hard it is to be like a high school player? Because all the big schools transfer portal. I could get a 25-year-old instead of a 17-year-old. So it's making it really hard for high school players to
Oh, yeah.
come out. Yeah.
If you're not a top
High school
recruit,
players and the coaches, the mid-major coaches, I think it's like really tough. All right, let's get back on track to your situation. Who's the hardest worker that you've ever trained?
Man, and it would
Besides
No shade
Stewie.
to besides me,
Stewie.
but like no
Besides
shade to
Stewie.
anybody. Like I don't know who's the one where you're like, oh my god, he or she is always in the gym. Like what?
be yeah. It's like it's like not fair, right? Because there's so many players that like they sacrifice their life towards it. And so for me to like say one person, it's like I feel like I'd be doing like 8 guys wrong. I used to be like, oh, LeBron. Why did I say LeBron? Because if we did a 9 o'clock workout, he's showing up at 6 or 7 a.m. every time. And I thought that was just like different. But then like a few players hit me up and they're like, yeah, he's doing that. But like I get there 30 minutes and then I stay 2 hours. So it's like you can't do that game. Yeah, I learned. That's a bunch of guys and girls.
Okay, I wasn't trying to set you up. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that topic too, man. I think the Black Ops runs, man, that was unbelievable. Still is, but it was unbelievable when it first hit the scene. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people were really drawn to it. You had all sorts of people trying to get in them gyms, man. Like, one, like, how did that come about?
Yeah.
And then the second part of that is like, what's the best like pickup game you've seen, within your Black Ops run?
So it came about when I was with the Knicks. Mello used to do like these Mello weekends. And we're hanging out, and he's like, when we get back to New York, I want you to put the best pickup game you can. I want to play pickup. So I put together a run with KD, Kimball Walker. I thought I was like a cool thing what I was doing. I was on the staff with the Knicks. Boom, did the run, go back to the office the next day, and James Dolan, they're like, you gotta meet with James Dolan, the owner. I'm like, oh no. They're like, you're in trouble. I'm like, damn. Walk in the office. I'm making like $40,000 a year. He's like, you just got us fined $50,000. That's more than your contract. I'm like, I'm sorry. And he's like, you know what? But I'm not that mad. He's like, because I like you bringing players to New York. He's like, just don't do it again. So like that was like the beginning of it.
Okay.
I learned my lesson. That wasn't why I left the Knicks after, but I did want to start my own thing. There's been some legendary ones though. KD versus on 3 weeks after they just got done playing in game 6 or something like that. There's been ones where it's been, like 9 All-Stars. And then like my favorite ones are even like this past summer when you have like the top junior in the country, small forward playing against like Jaylen Brown, and it's like a dream come true for that player. But then he's learning so much like within the game.
Actively, yeah.
It's really cool. It's really dope.
We should just
No,
get a
man, for
collab
sure.
workout. We should just work out all three of us together.
That'd
Dude,
be cool.
I'm actually down for that. That sounds dope.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
And
Well,
the runs
two
as
of us
well
live
going
in
up
New
there.
York, so whenever you're there, just let us know.
Yeah, eventually, I like it down south, man. But I hear you. I hear you.
Okay, so I asked the hardest worker, but like, what about the most skilled player?
I gotta go with Kevin Durant. Like,
Yeah.
he's like he doesn't want to say it, but he's 7 feet.
Yeah.
And he has handle. He, ridiculous footwork, the way he can make shots, the pace he plays with, the way he can play at the hezzy, his mid post, his finishing. Like he really doesn't have any holes in his game, and he's like urgent every summer to like. So I have a funny story. I haven't told this story at all. So this past summer, so like if you were to come work with me, Miles, I would have like I'm blessed to have a team of like interns that are like really good analytically, right? And I know
Mm.
I'm not huge on it. Analytics don't tell everything, right? But you can see some things out of it. And so Katie, last season, not this season, last season, I think it was his left shoulder turns, left or right, he was like 1 for 19 on the season. And so I mentioned it to him. So we ended the workout, and every time he wants to do some live, every time he does it and he hits it, he like stares me down. Like almost like he's mad that I told him that. But it was funny just to show how competitive that he is. Like he wanted to really prove a point that like, so I thought that was cool. Like that in year 9, his Hall of Famer is still cares, like, and that's part of why he is who he is.
Yeah, kudos to you for bringing that out of him, man. Because I mean, that's real, man. You said he's done everything in the game, one of the most decorated players, and it's like you still got stuff to work on. And that kind of leads me to my next question: like, what's the biggest key like to developing trust with players? Especially these elite guys that you work with and the resume that you have.
You got to be honest. You got to be honest, and there's been times where it's been like I'll never forget when. Early on, in like with working with LeBron, he was like, "All right, tomorrow morning I want you to come and I want you to tell me everything that you think I need to work on, specifically 2 things, and then we'll work on them." And in my mind, I'm like, so that whole night I didn't sleep. I'm like, damn, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna break it? So I like broke down his game and like I found 2 things, and I was so nervous, and I just said them. I'm like, I think you need to work on these 2 things. Like I think that you weren't efficient doing these 2 things, and he respected it. And so I think just being honest, like me and Mello, the reason why I was an intern, rebounding, and he missed the game-winning shot, 3rd game of the season, and everyone's like, no one's allowed to talk to him in these situations. So everyone left. I went into the he's getting his like ice. And I'm like, A, good shot. B, I was just talking the game. I was and he like respected that someone was talking to him. Someone was giving him, advice or and they weren't scared of him. And I feel like that goes a long way. I feel like, I'm sure, you know what I'm talking about, Miles, that certain coaches that it's almost like they don't want to, they get I don't know, afraid, or they don't
Oh,
want,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So holding players accountable is everything.
What do I need to work on? Give it to me straight right now. I mean, we've talked about this, so I know what you're going to say, but just so everyone else can hear.
I think actually it's pretty simple. I think it's like we talked about. There's nothing you can't do through the wear and tear over the years. It does something to people's mental, and I feel like it made you like second guess some things that
Yeah,
for 8 years
I agree.
in 80-90% of your shots, and then a few injuries later, like you start like aiming it a little bit, and we've talked about this, and
Yeah.
even when we were in Spain, like first day, and then the rest of the days, it was like that was no aiming. You were back. So I just like think
Yeah.
that anything that just like trust and how good you are, and and I know it can be tough, like with the journey, but yeah, I'm here to tell you, you still are her.
Appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's like the mental just it weighs on you a little bit, especially after you've like been going through a rougher drought or you haven't been playing as well as you want to. But and that's one thing like I really appreciate from you, Chris, is just like the way that you're constantly like, you're good, you got this. And like if anything was wavering, you like really brought me back to where I needed to be. So I appreciate that.
For sure. You know what's funny? We never talked about this. I was like, I've never done this before. Do you remember this past season? We had a little shooting something, and I did a video, and I did like a voiceover video, and I said,
Yes.
like, I've never
Yes.
done it before. I felt so like weird doing that. I'm like over. Yeah, it was funny, but yeah, yeah, whatever it takes. Have you, Miles? Have you ever been in any shooting slumps? Any mental slumps? Like, what's your experience with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like one, first and foremost, but I love y'all's relationship, bro. Like I said, just from afar, that's dope, man. I mean, I feel like you need someone in your corner, bro, constantly. That shit is so important, as well as much as we go through this league. But to y'all's point, or to your point, Chris, yeah, no, I've definitely been in shooting slumps. I'm damn near one right now. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta one,
You
you gotta
got
pull
it.
yourself out of it. Exactly. Come on, talk that.
Is there anything
Uh,
that you do different, or do you try and do things the same? Like, how do you handle it? How have you handled it? You've had a great career.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Like some of the best advice I've gotten is no, man. When shit is going like ass backwards, that's when people panic. That's when they feel like they have to change certain things. They have to change their approach. They have to move this finger over here this way, change the release. Like, no, bro, you stick to what got you here. You know what I mean? I've been a shooter. I'm one of the best shooting bigs in this league. Been doing it
That's
for quite some time, bro. So it's like
Talk
you
about
gotta
it.
remember. You gotta remember that shit. And it's exactly what Chris is talking about, bro. But yeah, to pull yourself out of it, I mean, you can you can put your extra hours in the gym. You can watch all the film you want. This shit is all mental, bro.
for
Oh
sure.
my God, bro. Like it's so mental. Like there are times where you fuck up, but then it's like, in my head, it's like, man, I'm about to hit this next one. I'm about to get hot. Like, nigga, I'm about to hit the next three. And then all of a sudden, it just fucking happens, you
Yep.
know? And then there's sometimes that it doesn't happen, but you still gotta fucking be delusional and like believe that it's gonna happen, bro.
Man, you got to be
So,
delusional. I feel like
yeah.
best players have a delusional sense with them, and also to humanize what you guys are talking about. The best scorers to ever play the game in our generation, I've gotten texts from mid-season being like, I've lost it. Like,
Mm,
done. I can't make. And I'm just thinking in my mind, like, and I'll hit him with what I hit Stewie, like, stop.
yeah.
But it's everyone is human. It's just a human, and I think fans forget that. I think a lot of people forget that you guys are human. Superstar, like the biggest best players are human, and yeah, it's just
Because it's like when you're consistently great and then all of a sudden you're like not, it's like
Mhm.
everyone's like, well, what happened?
for sure.
Yeah. But you need those human moments, like just to kind of remind you, like, you can be riding high, then all of a sudden you do on that like 2 week slump or whatever. And then like it just reminds you that, oh shit, like, like, yeah, I know I'm him, but at the same time, shit, you still can't take this shit for granted, you know?
Yep.
And I think it's good to fuck up on like the biggest levels, man. Like just experience it. You experience the highest of highs, experience the lowest of lows, but you got to be able to experience some lows to appreciate them highs that are coming and vice versa. Like, it's real.
That's life for sure. You if you just live on a high, I feel like you're not that's not life. But B, you're not learning. No, for sure. I'm so big on that. You're not getting too high, not getting too low in the journey,
Mhm.
and then learning on the lows for sure.
Yeah. So I'm curious, as Chris, from afar, like, if you were to work with me, like in the coming off season or whatnot, I know you said you have your team, of analytics and, guys that can put stuff together just from the naked eye, just from, the stuff you've watched me do. Like, what's one of the biggest things like you want me to focus on?
Man, I mean, I feel like you said, I feel like you're one of the best big men shooting. There's like a list. There's like maybe you can say it on like one hand of guys that like have the touch that you have from deep. My big thing is, I think I brought up to Stewie before, is okay. So one of my pet peeves is when someone asks someone a basketball question
Mhm.
and they answer it, but they don't truly know. So I can't tell you because
Word.
I want to give me 3 hours and then I'll be
See,
calm.
I respect that answer, bro.
But
Yeah.
team has scouts, right?
Mhm.
That they talk to each other, bullshit each other, and they don't know, and they're just giving each other answers, and like it's like
Yeah.
mind boggling. So I'm big on like I want to know before I speak on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's real. That's real.
He's literally gonna text me this like in the middle of the night and be like, "Send this to Myles. I know it's coming. I know it's coming." Okay, time for one more break. Next up, we go off the court and we're gonna get personal. Honestly, this is a question that I've been wondering. I've known you for a long time. You have a ton of tattoos, but like, which tattoo is like most special, and also why do you have so many?
I think I got to a point where I was able to like express like just I can look on my body and remember certain moments in my life, whether it's good or it's bad. So like my okay, so my left arm is all positive moments. My right arm's all like negative things that I've gone through.
Mm.
My legs are all inspirations. And so I feel like it's just I look at my body sometimes and I'm like, I remember the rough times I've been through, the people I've lost, and it motivates me. And then I'll look over here and I'll remember some of the dope things that's happened in my life. And then I'll look at my legs and be like, I got a long way to go. Because I
Mm.
have a lot of legends on my legs. So it's kind of like a mental thing.
That's cool.
I really don't do it for other people.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds so crazy, and I know so many people would be like, "What do you talk?" But the truth is, right? I was with the Knicks, and I was in Vegas with the Knicks. I didn't want to show my tattoos. Vegas Heat. I'm wearing a coach's polo, a short with tights and long sleeves, sweating. And the staff's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm changing one day in the locker room, and Phil Jackson's like, "Come on, man, just be yourself." And I'm like,
That's cool.
"What do you mean?"
That's
He's
dope.
like, "Don't cover up your tattoos." And that
Mm.
first day walking into that practice, people looked at me like I was not a human because they
I'm
didn't.
sure they were like, "What?"
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
like, I have yeah. So I can't answer why, but it definitely plays a big part in my mental
They're like your story. It's your story.
for sure.
That's fire, bro. That's fire. I like the fact that you have meaning behind your tattoos. I feel like there are people who get tattoos just for other people or for the showiness of it all. Then they'll regret that shit like 10, 15 years later. But you're carrying your story with you. You're allowing your creative expression just to be literally on your sleeve, and that's dope.
For sure, for sure. And I
Mhm.
guess to answer your question, what one's the most important? I was able to retire my father. Someone took a picture at that moment, and I got that picture on my leg. That means a lot. And then I feel like the last few years, my life has really changed. And I have like a lot of like legends that lost their way in tattooed on me, and it's for a reason. It's like it's so easy. I know both. It's so easy when you like, start making a little bit of money and you have yes men to lose your way.
Mhm.
And there's been times I've almost lost it, but I'll look down and be like, I don't want to be Amy Winehouse. I don't want to be, and it's like a mental thing.
Mm.
And it's really played a big part in my mental.
All right, man. So like, when you're not hooping, when you're not traveling, I feel like again, you're always on other people's time just 'cause what your profession calls for. Like how do you get back to your mental? Like what do you like to do off the court? Like what do you do for yourself?
Man, going on drives by myself at night, that's like my thing. It's like my peace. Like
Mm.
going to drive into the city to places I used to live where like when I was like super broke and just driving in those neighborhoods, parking the car, walking around and like getting myself back there. Like
Mm.
I'm big on that. And then I'm also big on like if I feel like I'm like starting to get an ego, I like do this weird thing where like I like low key like starve myself like keep my like I won't get out of bed. Like I put myself in these like situations that I was in when I had no choice. And like, yeah, it might sound like a crazy person, but
No,
yeah,
no, not
I
at
try to
all.
put myself back in those situations.
Nah, yeah, you don't sound crazy at all, bro. I just everybody has their thing, bro. It just whatever it takes to get you to that state. Like it's, I mean, you were in survival mode. You know, let's just call it, keep it in a stack, and then if you got to get yourself back to that state to remind yourself, man, I think that's sick.
No, I
And
appreciate
honestly, like everybody that I know or everybody that's like met you through me, they're like, "Oh my God, like Chris is so humble. Like I never knew he was like this. I only saw the videos and all this." And so you're definitely like extremely grounded for all
Mm.
the success that you've had, especially as of late. So I feel like you never forget where you came from. Unless Miles has another question, this is the last one. Obviously we're both Puma.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to give a shout out to that, but I want you to talk about your signature shoe. Only
Oh, yeah.
trainer with a signature shoe. Like, talk about it a little bit.
It's just amazing. It's truly amazing just to be able to motivate people. Not everyone can make it to the NBA, and just motivate trainers and motivate coaches. It means the world. There's nothing. There's never a time that I will like not talk for 3 minutes to someone that comes up to me that wants to be a trainer, and I think it's just really cool. I never thought in a million years, if you go 6 years back and someone's like, "This is gonna be your life," I'd be like, I have more likely of a chance of being dead. Like,
Wow.
yeah. So it's pretty incredible. Like, I'm thankful. I'm thankful.
Honestly, Chris, I got a lot of insight. Like I said, I just again, I've only known you from afar, and to speak to Stewie's point, man, you are very humble in what you do, and being grounded in this industry in this life is very important, man. So we appreciate you. I know the fans will appreciate this. I mean, if you can give one last piece of advice to someone who is just trying to come up, whether it's a young player, a young trainer, like what would that be?
I think just treat every day like it's a 1-day contract. I think
Okay.
all of us,
I like that.
take
Yeah.
something like that. Like when you go to sleep at night, whatever you do, would you, if you were like your boss, your GM, your whatever, a brand, like would you re-sign you? Would you give yourself I try to like go to sleep at night and ask myself, and there's some days where I'm like, man, I wouldn't have re-signed myself after today, and I try to like limit those days, but like I try to live my life like that, where like I would re-sign myself. So
I like that a lot. Yeah. That's fire, man. All right, y'all. Thanks for checking us out. You can be part of the show. Send your questions to our social channels. Leave comments on the YouTube videos. And please, please, please subscribe to Game Recognized Game, man. See y'all next time.